Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. This week it is Sabbath Sunday, brought to you by Tim.
That would be me.
Every Sunday, hopefully, we try to get through these longer discographies, 1 week at a time. Hopefully, you're checking out our normal weekly shit. We do a lot of discographies. Sourced by playlist. Also with me, I'm Jason, by the way, is Bill.
Oh, this one disturbed some priests.
Today we're talking Born Again, 1983.
Yeah. So Bill's back. You get the Bill Geezer Tony lineup again. And Dio is out. Of course, Ozzy's been gone for a while. So who's the best choice to get? Clearly, it's Ian Gillan from Deep Purple. And then it's kind of funny because Ian Gillan joins. He's out drinking with Tony and Geezer, and is actually so drunk doesn't remember that he joins the band until management informs him the next day. And then Bill is back. The official story being that he finally was able to gain sobriety. And so in his sobriety, he felt he was able to come back and be a productive member of Black Sabbath. So you've got someone coming back trying to be sober. And then you got three really drunk guys where the first song here is actually about drinking and driving. And it just goes from there. So, yeah, I mean, Bill's back, but is this the last time Bill's going to be on an album? Yeah, it is. So for Bill fans such as myself, there's something to cherish here. Obviously, it's gone down as one of the worst album covers in heavy metal history. We'll get into that.
Hot take on Is It Art?
Yeah, we'll get into that on Is It Art? And then on a personal level, it's very possible that this was the first Black Sabbath I heard. In the late 80s, early 90s, when I was watching MTV and actually getting into heavy music, I thought that Black Sabbath was pretty cheesy. Now, granted, I hadn't heard Paranoid yet, or, Master of Reality, or even knew that Ozzy was a part of it. So I'm guessing I saw the video for Trashed or Disturbing the Priest. And if you haven't seen those videos, do yourself a favor. They are hilarious. And then I guess the other thing to talk about here is the production. I know a lot of people have issues with the production here. I know, like, among the Sabbath fan community, this is one that's probably top of the list of wanting to get remixed. For one, though...
That's weird. Like, to me, I think production-wise, this one sounds better than Mob Rules.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far. Mob Rules is pretty clean.
I think Mob Rules is really flat.
I think I prefer this to Mob Rules, production-wise. I like the filthiness of this album.
I do too.
Again, on a personal level, if this was the first Sabbath that I heard and thought Sabbath was cheesy, then I was very much a Ozzy or nothing kind of guy for a long time. And then I joined a band, probably like almost 20 years at this point, where the guitar player kind of pulled me aside and said, no, not only do you need to check out the Dio stuff, but you really got to get into the crazy 80s stuff, starting with Born Again. This is a guitar player's album. Like, the guitar on this thing is You know, I mean, we're going to say it a whole bunch. Tony Iommi is should be worshipped, and he shines heavily on this album. And then yeah, you get Geezer and Bill Ward. What's not to love? Um, so I had this was kind of an album that gave me a renaissance on Black Sabbath and really helped me get beyond just the Ozzy albums and even the Dio albums. Um, Going through this one, like Trash is a classic. Like that riff is great, the chorus is great. And yeah, I mean, Black Sabbath 1983, I want you to be singing about drinking and driving. That's like that just fits. Um Stone then that's going to lead us into Stonehenge, which fits the Tony Iommi's going to throw a little instrumental bit on an album motif, but we really got to talk about how um, this song led to some tour issues that led directly to one of the most famous parts of Spinal Tap, where in Spinal Tap the thing is too small. In Sabbath World, they went life size, so the model was too big, and they couldn't actually fit it in any of the venues that they were playing.
The
Um,
model of what? Stonehenge?
Stonehenge.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Spinal Tap in a while, know that when you get to that scene, the exact opposite actually happened to Sabbath here. Thanks, Geezer. Um, Disturbing the Priest, the guitar is so herky jerky, but once you get used to it, I kind of love it. And I mean, Ian Gillan already had just like a serious career as Deep Purple's vocalist and as a solo act. But I mean, in the what 15 years he had been singing professionally at this point, I don't think he sound more unhinged or just absolute batshit crazy than on Disturbing the Priest. Like those are some crazy vocals. I love it. Uh, it's some classic Sabbath. It's some classic Ian Gillan. I'm a fan, and that's going to lead us into the dark, which again is kind of just a little instrumental thing that leads us into Zero the Hero, which I'm here for. Like Zero the Hero, top song contender. I love that riff. I love the chorus. I love the feel. I love everything about that song. That is a classic metal track. Not beyond Sabbath. That's like everything I would want in an 80s metal track. Um, and then that's going to lead us to the B side, where we're going to start with Digital Bitch, which is a song about Sharon Arden, who I think at this point is Sharon Osbourne. It's a fun song. It's kind of silly. It's super outdated, um, but it's a fun song. And then the last few songs on this album, they kind of slow it down a little bit. They get a little more rock and rolly. Born Again, the title track is cool, but it's a slow burn. And then Hotline is another one of those where, like, on its own, it's just kind of a generic rock song. But Ian Gillan goes so batshit crazy on the vocals that I love it. And then we're going to end with Keep It Warm, which is almost a ballad. Almost not. We're really starting to see where Tony is going to really start getting doomy in his riffs. And whereas, like, yeah, you know, especially in 1983, you got thrash metal being birthed, you got glam metal being birthed, or at least being refined. Sabbath is here to show you that not only did they create this genre, but they're going to take it in a completely different direction. And that direction is the doom. And I'm here for it. I am here for this album. It's ugly. It's, you know, it's Purple Sabbath. Um, but man, it's a lot of fun. It's super heavy, and the more I hear it, the more I like this album. I think this one's great. Super underrated.
Okay. Bill.
Yeah. So I think for me, this would be, kind of when Jason's comment that he didn't like Dio's voice. There were times at this one I wasn't really big on Ian's vocal. Um, the way I felt, it seemed like he was trying really hard to sound like Dio at times.
Well, I don't
And
know
I
if he was
could
trying to sound like Dio as much as he was trying to like put on the Sabbath.
I get what you're
Obviously
saying,
coming
yeah.
from Deep Purple, like Sabbath's got a reputation.
Yeah.
And so he does seem to kind of just amp up everything here,
Yeah.
which I
Which
again think works. So
yeah, I mean it's
I see both those points. I kind of agree with Bill. I get what he's saying with Dio's voice. This guy, Ian comes in and he's trying to like. I get that, but I also get what Tim's saying about like you're gonna be the vocalist for Black Sabbath. At this point, they're fucking Black Sabbath. So, and
yeah.
I think Dio had the same issue on Heaven and Hell, where he was coming in saying, "Oh shit, I'm the singer of Black Sabbath." I think
right.
Ian's facing the same fucking thing here. So
Yeah.
I get both sides. I see what y'all are saying.
Yeah. And so it's just up to the listener to decide if it works or not.
Yeah.
I mean it's I'll just go through each one here. Trashed for me is a solid song. Probably the weakest opener, I think, till this point. I mean, granted, we're saying this with each one as we're comparing it, but however, as we're comparing it to like the Mob Rules opener, the Tactical Ecstasy opener. Like, it's it's a solid metal song. Don't get me wrong, but it's not anything crazy.
I agree.
I feel like at times, I mean, Tony Iommi was he still shredding that song? Absolutely. But it feels like at this point and throughout the album that Tony Iommi was trying harder than usual. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I felt like he was trying to compensate at times with like his volume and his speed on the guitar, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I'm all for hearing Tony Iommi
I
going, but it's
mean,
like,
this is 1983. Like
Which is a pivotal year in heavy metal.
Iron Maiden has already come out by this point.
Yeah, they're putting out Number of the Beast already.
Motorhead was on fucking Iron Fist.
Yep.
White Snake had already put out goddamn Here I Go Again on My Own.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
the first song, I don't want to try to I'm not trying to hijack Bill, but like the Trashed to me is trash. It's so generic. Like I was not a fan of Trashed.
I mean, they followed it up with Stonehenge, which, yeah, it's an instrumental, but like, I would say probably the weakest instrumental to this point.
Eh,
Well, we're starting to get into synthesizers.
the last album had a shitty instrumental too, though,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
and the one before that.
Oh, but like this one, say this album as a whole, I struggled getting through this album, honestly, when I got to the end. Like, we finally, I think, at the point where it's like, okay, Maybe that's why I only knew about Ozzy and Dio Black Sabbath and not Purple Sabbath. I mean,
Which is
is there
why we're
merit?
doing Sabbath, is so people will hear these
Yeah.
albums.
I mean, is there merit? And are there still good points? Absolutely. But at the same time, I mean, I won't spoil it too much, but this is not, oh, you think you might want to listen to Black Sabbath. I'm not gonna probably hand them Born Again and tell them, here, listen to Black Sabbath. This is a great Black Sabbath album. Like,
Oh.
I mean, I think Jason and I are gonna differ here a little bit in the rankings of this one, but it just it, it isn't what I wanted at this point. Put it that way.
All right. Well, let me tell you a story, okay? I went into this album after hearing the past two Dio records and how y'all fucking just nut all over heaven and hell. I'm like, he didn't do nothing for me. I'm like, I went into this record knowing Bill's back and Dio's gone.
Dio's gone.
And Ian's here. Let's fucking go. I should have got my Deep Purple record to show off. And then I heard Trashed. And I'm like, I remember I was power washing. Power Wash Simulator, great fucking game. Out game of the year 2023. But I'm sitting there power washing this cruise deck, listening to fucking Born Again, listening to Trash. I'm like, man, son of a bitch, they gonna make me put heaven and hell over a fucking. Damn it. I wanted that one to sit at the bottom. Alright. But then you get Stonehenge. That's 2 minutes of pointlessness. It adds zero.
And there's a 5-minute version out there too.
It adds zero value. Like, fuck Stonehenge. Don't care about it. But then you get Disturbing the Priest. That song's fucking pretty cool. It had really interesting time signatures. It reminds me of like kind of like Tool's kind of ripping off Disturbing the Priest at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of great liners in the lyrics, Hail Satan and whatnot. It does go on a little bit too long, but like it was a cool song. Disturbing the Priest is a cool song. The Dark, 45 seconds of wasted space. At least it works well as a bridge though between Priest and Zero. I'm not sure why it was a separate track, but whatever. It could have just been a part of Zero the Hero. I was kind of
It's also one of those things where the more titles you have, the more you get paid too.
Yeah, sure. But come on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's fine. It's not an instrumental it is a good bridge. It does work in the context of the album. I was getting late 80s, early 90s Metallica vibes on Zero the Hero. I really like the verses. The chorus is pretty corny though. I think I'd take Disney's Hercules Zero to Hero over it. The best thing about this song though was the fucking guitar. The guitar is fucking phenomenal in that song. Digital Bitch. I kind of disagree with Tim. I think this was the best track on the album at this point. It's super thrashy. It's almost punk rock. The chorus is super fucking fun. Yeah, that was the best one so far.
Okay.
Born Again, it was okay. It was a weird one. I'm not sure how I felt about it. It was kind of slow. It was kind of droning on, but in a good way, if that makes sense. By the end of it, I was okay with it. Like, I liked Born Again. Hotline, Lead Me to Religion, Take Me Up Them Stairs. When I take a tumble, will you save me? Will you save me some prayers? Save me some prayers. I actually like this one. Like, I liked it. Like, 80s, my nuts got kicked in screams and all. Like, I like this one. This was a good fucking song. Keep It Warm. The closer, it was good. It wasn't a good closer. It was just a good song. It doesn't have like a closing feel to it like the past albums, but it's still a great fucking song. The drums were really fucking good on it, which I was curious if you know, Tim. The last two tracks don't have Bill credited as writer, so who wrote the drums on this one? Because there's really interesting drums on Keep It Warm.
So this one was an interesting album. Geezer had quit for a little while, so he doesn't get full writing credit on a lot of these songs. And he came in before Bill did, even, I think. So I think it's just that Tony and Ian had those songs before Bill joined back up.
Okay.
As far as who wrote the drums, I mean, they could have been using any studio guy, or they could just, I know, especially like when we get to later albums, people ask Tony, like, hey, everybody contributed to this album. Like, what did the drummer contribute? And he's like, well, he played drums.
I mean, nice. I don't know. Keep It Warm's drumming is like phenomenal.
I agree.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I'm not entirely sure if I know the answer to your question.
It's weird. Like all four of them are credited like for 7 of the songs, and then Bill Ward's not credited for 8 and 9. So, and those are the two that like really stood out drum. Well, Keep It Warm stood out drum wise. But yeah,
I would imagine it's just that they already had those songs before he got back in the fold.
I mean, I get what Bill's saying. Like, it feels like a continuation of like trying to copy Dio in the vocals, but also trying to like sing lyrics like people. Because like at the time, you got to think like this is like, to me, this album is like what those religious fucks that never heard a Black Sabbath record would think Black Sabbath sounds like.
Oh yeah, 100%. Disturbing the Priest, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Trash.
This is what.
Yeah.
They had taken shit for like, what, 10 years at this point?
More, 13.
So like this is what like people would think like people who don't listen to Black Sabbath, this is what they would think, especially in the lyrical content.
Well, and especially 1983, that is when like the PMRC is starting to get off the ground, and the Satanic Panic is right around the corner.
Yep. Somebody think of the children.
And Sabbath's playing right into it.
Yeah. Where to rank? Who's got the dot? Who's got the dot? Please don't let it be. Tim's got the dot.
Oh, okay. Well, Bill's going to have it last.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it's by Mob Bros.
Jason, I think, is going to have it above the Dio albums. He might even have it above Mob Rules here. But I don't think he's got it above Never Say Die.
Oh. Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
You're correct. It's number 9.
And I'm going to have it up one more. I'm going to put it above Technical Ecstasy. This is one. The more I listen to it, the better it gets. I don't know if that means it's a grower or I just hate horrible music. But I enjoy this album a lot. And there's a number of top song contenders from it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't This one didn't piss me off as much as the last two. I can kind of get behind this one. This has got some good shit on it.
Yeah, check it out again. Like, add it to your regular playlist. And yeah, even songs where you're like, I'm not sure about that one. The more you hear it, you're going to be like, oh, but Ian Gillan's doing some crazy shit there. Listen to that bass line. And yeah, it's a serious grower.
It is weird though. Like it doesn't sound like Ian a lot of the time. It sounds more Dio-ish.
Sure.
I guess. I don't know. It's weird, but it kind of works. Like it kind of works.
And then, of course, if you get like the bonus CD edition, you get Black Sabbath covering "Smoke on the Water," which is worth it right there. So.
With Ian singing.
Yep.
Because
like
on
they
guitar.
did a tour. They did a tour, and so they had to like kind of throw Ian a bone, and so like the encore would be "Smoke on the Water" into "Paranoid." It was awesome. Sounds so good.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, so not knowing fuck all about Black Sabbath, who's the next singer on the next album?
What, we get Glenn Hughes next?
Wait, actually, it's another new singer?
Yep.
So he's going to try his hardest to make what he thinks is a Black Sabbath album. Lord!
Well, so the next one is technically going to be recorded as a Tony Iommi solo album. The next one's where it really starts getting weird.
The next one we got on our list is...
Should be 7 Star, yeah.
Yeah,
and you'll notice it's Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi.
Oh, I got questions about that. What the fuck does that mean?
That means this started off A, as a Tony Iommi solo album, and B, Tony Iommi is the only member of Black Sabbath left. Geezer's gone, Bill's gone, Ian Gillan's gone.
That still doesn't explain the title of the album, Black Sabbath featuring Tony. And we'll get to that. Well, stick around, stay tuned for that. That's what's next, I guess.
Yeah, we're no stranger to love.
Yeah, turn to stone to fucking hear us in memory, ... I don't know. Like and subscribe.
In memory of when Black Sabbath was good.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Any hot takes on this one? I'd like to see this one like break the top 6 Black Sabbath records.
We're not done breaking the top 6, so you never know.
Okay. Hot takes incoming. Be safe and make great decisions.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.